Hey team, welcome along. Episode number 25. That's right. Quarter of a century of the D.M.C podcast with me, Adam Rigby, and the beautiful human that is Mr. Cody Hunter, also known as Chauncey. Bro, welcome, kia ora, welcome. First live hiss out in some very interesting times here in New Zealand. So welcome to anybody that's tuned in or about to tune in. How are you, mate?
Mate, doing very well, and I think it's quite fitting to go live during this kind of a stage. I just think there's something about it to get some good combos. We haven't really caught up in great detail since everything's happened this week, so this is awesome to be able to sit down and do this live. And also, it's a great opportunity because, as we know, most of us, well, everyone is currently sitting at home, especially our New Zealand viewers. So what a great way to hopefully get some more live people watching it and interacting a little bit. But bro, you know, it's, interesting times. It's been, we've had a couple of great days with the family. As those of you will remember in New Zealand during our first lockdown, the weather has been on point, bro. I mean, this is what happened last time too, for us anyway, was we got locked down and then the weather came out to play. And right now it is a beautiful, shining day here in Christchurch. Cannot complain one bit, mate. But how are you finding it so far, bro? How's everything going?
Oh, same capital, you know. I enjoyed the last lockdown, but I'm also mindful that a lot of people are under pressure. There's a lot of stress for various reasons, businesses, people. There can be a lack of connection. There can be an improvement in connection, but supermarkets going nuts again, which is crazy, which just blows my mind. And as much as I love the fact that people tune into this, you guys aren't the ones that we need to chat about this issue, but this self-obsessed, just people going and grabbing and hoarding and going into the supermarket to grab some really simple things, just like we do every single week, and there's nothing. Unfortunately, the crew at Countdown hooked me up today. There was only one thing that they didn't deliver, which was celery sticks, which I ordered by accident anyway. So everything was delivered to my door, contactless delivery this morning, which was amazing. So thank you to Countdown. But yeah, it's a super stressful time where obviously as a nation we're still waiting with bated breath to see what the full extent of the issue will be. And if it's anything to go by what's happened overseas and in Australia, then we could be in for a few challenges, but that's when communication and talking and looking after each other is paramount, should be front of mind. And also just helping each other, managing just different levels of stress, bro? Because, for you, you've got young kids that would not just want to burn energy, so you've got to manage that. You're also tripping over each other. The house becomes very small when you've got more people. For me, I went and got my darling mum. So mum is mum's with us, and my daughter's boyfriend has also joined us. So we've multiplied in the house. So we're just trying to be mindful and look after each other and play our part. That's what we've got to do. We've got to play our part in our homes and in our communities.
Yeah, bro, I totally agree. And it's a funny one. I said it last night on the Daily D.M.C, but it's really good opportunity to sort of refocus on a lot of things, and be just super mindful of like where you're giving your energy to, what you're giving your energy to. Because it's really easy to get caught up in like what's going on, and we can't do this, and we don't want to do that, and just get real stressed out about it. And sure, everyone has different layers of stress, like you said.
For sure.
But it's a really good time to sort of get that focus on. And I mean, because this afternoon I dived in the old update, chuck it on at 1:00 straight away. You start thinking anxiety, right, about the future, about things that hasn't even happened yet. And you start painting this picture. And most of our viewers know I'm relocating, well, very soon up north, and there's lots of things going on. And it's like, wowzers, we've got a lot on the plate. But then again, we changed our game plan. And in hindsight, thank goodness we did. Otherwise, this week, we would have been packing houses, moving houses, on ferries, all sorts of things would have been going on. So it's actually worked out really well for us in that regard. But again, what can you focus on? What's the good stuff you can do? And today, mate, woke up this morning, had a good structured day, wrote a little schedule with my daughter, planned out our study for the day. We had writing, we had reading, we had arts and crafts. We did the Les Mills body combat that was on TV, so we jumped around on that.
Stop it.
For literally, mate, I did 3 minutes of it, and mate, my glutes were on fire, mate. It was awesome. So it's cool. It's a good time to get like that, and not get too caught up in the shit that's uncontrollable, that can stress you out way more than it needs to be. So still tough sometimes, but it's good to be mindful, bro. So what about for you, mate?
Yep.
What's happening in your household, and how are you guys sort of holding up? What's going on over there?
So yeah, I guess you all come together at times, you retreat at times. We've all got work to do, so we've got 4 professionals in the house currently, so we have to find space and allocate time. We do have an office here, but my wife is in terms of project management, and given she has a lot on at the moment currently in the current environment, then she takes priority. I can pretty much go anywhere, so I can take my laptop. My daughter also has to make time to call customers as a physio, so she's checking in with customers. Her boyfriend has just got a new job, so he's on the laptop and they're having Zoom conversations as you do. Nana's colouring in, and got a little colouring in book, and we're sitting just making her coffees non-stop. Made her a beautiful breakfast this morning, cafe style, scrambled eggs, a little bit of halloumi, and some beetroot relish. Deluxe. Oof, gotta say, oof. Deluxe. And yeah. And Livy's obviously not at work. She's been a dental assistant, so she's back just cruising. So yeah, and we've all done something relatively active today in terms of, whether it's walking the dog, been for a 90-minute bike ride in the garage. So I've done that. So that's
gold, mate.
Yeah, that's exciting, mate. I mean, activity is important, especially times like these. You've got to allocate the time just to do the things that make you feel good and sane and whole again. And doing something for you, I think, is important. And for some, it's activity. For some, it's just sitting back reading or doing a puzzle. Whatever you can find to help, whether it's by yourself, which is important, or whether it's with others. But yeah, just trying to manage what can be an incredibly stressful time. And from a sales perspective, just ringing, making sure people are okay, taking care of some stuff, some administration, all of those things that I love so much. Administration just makes my heart sing. Big news too in the household. So we just got our spa connected. So that's been the last few days.
Yeah. That's awesome, mate. That's a big journey we've talked a lot about.
Yeah. So it has been a journey, but who gives a shit when you're sitting there and it's 40 degrees, right? So you forget about all the pain in between when you're sitting there just enjoying it. There's still a bit of construction work going on. Obviously the builder can't come back and finish that, but to be sitting there and just enjoying that with the fam. And what I really like about it is it pulls us out of the let's just sit around and watch TV. It gets us outside, enjoying the day. Even if it's a little bit cold, you can just sit down and chat. So already had a couple of real cool chats with the fam bam. And did Pipeline. So Pipeline, we have a sales call on a Monday. So I decided to call in as everybody was in their office, experiencing lockdown. I was in spa pool.
Did you do it? You rocked out in the spa.
Yeah, I did. At 40.3 degrees. I thought it would be just a little bit of humour. Very hard to hear when the bubbles are on though, so the hydrotherapy had to take a little bit of a back seat. But it was good. It was real good. So yeah, managing. Very quiet, and I do like it when it's peaceful. I do like a bit of peace and quiet, to be honest. Less traffic. But yeah, I mean, it's a year ago almost to the day, isn't it? That everything got locked down previously. So we've got flights booked next weekend for Auckland, so that looks like that trip's off. But that's okay. I've got flights booked for Napier and Gisborne next week, so that looks like that'll be off. But that's okay. That's okay. All I can focus on, and this is what I urge people to do, is there's so much stuff we can't control. There's no point, just that storm of worry, of fear, of anxiety perpetuating it by continuing to bomb each other, going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. The expectation for me is it's definitely going to get worse. There are going to be more cases. Unfortunately, it's not something that's going to go away. This is the Delta strain that, is very aggressive. So my expectation is that it will get worse, and we are preparing ourselves for that. But just peace of mind, with people out there, they deal with the information. So don't continue to flood people with, oh my God, 2 more cases. Oh my God, look at this.
Yeah.
Just relax and control what we can control. That's the people around us, making sure that we're all in good shape, that we're happy, that we do have food to eat, and we do have books to read, and we do have stuff to watch, and we do have work to do. Good chance to catch up on some of those jobs, lads. So if your wife or partner has been asking you to do stuff for a long, long time, you know what to do. And mate, and the funny thing is too, bro, like we've been very fortunate in NZ, and certainly, we're lucky we're miles away from anything, right? And we've been running around, going to pubs, going to parties, going to cafes, going to concerts for months on end.
Yeah.
And I think complacency can be a real killer too. We've still got to scan. Not a lot of people scan. We've still got to take precautions when we can. But overseas, and again, mindful that our friends in Australia and around the globe have been experiencing significant issues and lockdown for months. So, my heart goes out to those guys. So if you're complaining about 1 or 2 days, peeps, just pull your head in just a little bit, because there are people in so much more significant and trying circumstances than us. For me, I'm just thankful I've got a home and a family, and that we enjoy spending time together. We'll test that over the next couple of days. There's no doubt going to be some frustrations. So there could be a few timeouts, but that's okay.
Mate. And I think it's important, I've got young kids, and this is what happened last time as well, is that I like to kind of gatekeep a little bit about the stress and stuff. Like, there's no use them living in some weird anxiety about lockdown and stuff, because again, it's damaging enough over time anyway, not being at school and whatever's going on. And but I think we can still have a good time and keep that positive vibe, so that they're not freaking out about stuff. Like I don't think you should be putting that stress onto kids when they don't need it. Little 5-year-olds and 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds.
Of course.
Yep. So we still have a good time, mate. Our walk today was awesome. We did a little 3K or 4K walk today. Still have good yarns. There's people about everywhere doing the same thing, which is cool. Don't try to freak out and run across the road like everyone's poisonous and got cooties. You don't have to freak out about it all. But it does, straight away, you sort of go back to the original lockdown where, you're waving at people. Your neighbor becomes more friendly, where normally you don't even look at each other, and all of a sudden you're like, g'day, mate. Yeah, have a good day. Nice sunny day, mate, And I really missed that time, because that was cool last time. That was the cool part about it, as it sort of, everyone got further away from each other physically, but got closer in every other way. Got closer in the way we waved across the road and call a mate or talk to your friends or family. So yeah, it's quite cool, and there are certain things. Again, I know it's stressful for a lot, but there's some positive stuff to look at it. And those connections, those D.M.Cs, mate, what a time, what an opportunity to have a good chat with somebody, to grab a call.
Yeah. Do your part, and I think that's really important. And regardless, if you're out there exercising or walking, and take a mask with you, and be an example. Be an example for everybody, young and old, because we've seen them arguing, pushing police around, complaining, waving signs about our freedom. But this is way deeper than that. We're way smarter than that. We're protecting our way of life. And, the luxury or the luxurious situation that we've been fortunate to experience is at risk significantly. Businesses, all of those people, my heart goes out to them who have had to shut doors and then go, just when they're starting to get back on their feet, go into, again, alert mode. So my heart goes out to them. But yeah, do your best to support your neighbour, support your family, and support yourself as well, because, it is a stressful time. So just make sure you're looking after yourself. Make sure if you are feeling under pressure to go and have a conversation, to chat to someone about it, to reach out. You can get hold of us if you want, obviously. But just if you want to have a conversation, just to make reason of a couple of things, and the realization too that everybody's suffering to different elements. It's like a sports event. Everybody's going through carnage. You're not the only one. You're not the only one suffering. So just bear that in mind. And if you are, ask for help, and it's okay. It's okay if you are feeling a bit of pain. If it is getting a little too much, it is okay. It's okay. And what kind of is not okay is just to hold on to it or feel as though you need to hang on to it. So that's the beautiful thing about us. We're trying to promote conversations, and you develop that trust and that ability to talk about a whole range of stuff. And if this is something you need to talk about or just to check in, as we said, reach out to people. If a name pops into your head and you go, shit, I wonder what old mate's up to, just flick them a message. You don't have to ask. You could just say, hey, you just popped into my head. How are you? Or was thinking of you. Like you said, was thinking of you. You don't have to open it up and expect a reply. But isn't it nice to know that people are out there thinking about us? So people out there, friends in our extended family, thinking of everybody in NZ and globally. I think we talked about last week, just people reaching out that have experienced way more suffering and death than we have had to experience. But it can get scary. Mum's 85. She's sitting downstairs with a colouring book, and I can't help but worry about her. And even myself, I'm at risk. Well, vaccinated now. I got the vaccination, both shots, so we're in good shape. But you never know. But man, COVID or not, my mission is just to max every day and every opportunity that I get to chat to people and say hi and experience this thing called life, and help as many people as I can through whatever avenue, through whatever it's talking or doing, the gym. And the gym was a great outlet for people to have the ability to go in and work out, even under level 2 is fantastic. Now that's taken away. You just have to find ways and means to do it. Look online. There's a whole lot of stuff. And options. Go for a walk, wear a mask. Go for a bike ride, wear a mask. If you can. Oh, what's up, Tane?
But yeah, well, the cool thing was that as soon as it was announced, people are pretty agile, So I straight away, I program for people online straight away. I have a body weight at home fitness program that's already uploaded into this program I use. So all I did straight away is go whoompa, share it to every one of those people that are on my program, and just said a quick message. Hey team, I know we're into lockdown now. Here's some body weight workouts to keep you going. And of course, the amount of sharing that's been done online anyway. So there's options everywhere. For me, I don't schedule any deload weeks or anything ever. So for me, I've hardly done anything the last couple of days except dance around with my daughter, and we've done home workouts. We did a Kids Bop song yesterday that we recorded, and that was a 2-minute song of the Kid Bop Shuffle, mate, and it blew me out. So that's my workout, mate. So, and of course, lots of walks, lots of sleep-ins. So I just wake up when I wake up, which has been amazing. It's just so you can either keep that momentum going. If you've really struggled to keep your habits going and things that you've sort of set up, keep them going is what I'd advise. If you wake up at 5:30 and it took you years to get that sorted, and then if you fall off the wagon of doing that, you're going to be struggled again, keep it going. So for someone like me, I just maximize relaxation time. I don't set an alarm. It's like, nope, I'm waking up when I wake up. And my kids love seeing me get out of bed after them because it never happens. So I'm just making the most of it. It's good for the health, mate.
Yeah, I'm kind of auto early riser anyway. I get up usually with a cat just trying to jump on my face, but I'll generally get up, be one of the first up anyway, get a coffee on board, bit of cycling on TV. The Vuelta, the Tour of Spain is on at the moment, so get up, watch some highlights, And what I do like to do is make sure I'm accountable and allocate time to do set tasks. So, and you can do it, you can break it into parts. Remember, we do that with our working day anyway. We work, we take a break, we work, we take a break. So allocate something to do in your break time. Make sure obviously nutrition is optimum, but if you want to exercise for an hour or 2 hours or whatever, or I saw Brendan McGrath on there, his idea of exercising is probably 6 hours. 6 hours, probably a route round Macca on a bike. Absolute machine. But, just make sure you are allocating time to do things. And that way you don't tend to stress about, oh my God, what have I got to do? And do as much as you can in that time. Reach out to people from a work perspective as well. Check in with everybody.
Love it. That's an interesting sound there. You're good.
Oh, did you hear that? I think that was my AirPods just switched off, bro.
Oh, there you go. I still got you. Still hear you loud and clear, bro. So don't worry, mate.
I got you. Okay.
That's cool. That's cool, mate. Yeah. So some other things that's been going on, mate, has been obviously watching a fair bit of telly, mate. What's been going on, bro? Any recommendations on the lockdown viewing? What's going down?
Well, don't watch the fucking news, that's for sure. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one, bro. I'm with you on that one. Switch that one.
Watch the news.
Switch that one off.
Love Island obviously is just going feral in this house.
No. Oh, really?
Yeah.
You watched that?
Love Island. What's that?
I've never seen it because, mate, I know those.
Me neither, mate. Me neither. Never seen it.
But the other kind of shows, mate, that if I start, then it's game over. So I just don't start them anymore, because I know what happens.
Yeah, it's highly addictive.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's good to see that there are absolute train wrecks, and then there's that fascination with other people just being. Yeah. So that is first and foremost. That's some family bonding time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I mean, television is an interesting thing. There are a couple of series that we would have watched, and then you start to scrape the barrel. But I think finding activities that you can do outside. Again, the spa is great, so we can just retreat, do something else. A few board games going on downstairs as well. There's a couple of things that we can do, and just even activity in terms of taking people for a walk is great. So the television side of it is interesting. The Olympics are over, which is shit.
I know, and the CrossFit Games, mate, that was on too, which was good.
Yeah. So we've got CrossFit Games. There was Olympics. The Paralympics are starting. I think they've got the under-20 World Athletic Championships on at the moment as well. Obviously the Vuelta, cycling for me. Love that shit. Love watching people hurt themselves. I'm going back on a couple of documentaries, watching some Joe Rogan podcasts. There's some amazing content on the Joe Rogan podcast at the moment. So yeah, I mean, switch. What depends whether you want to. It's the tuning in versus tuning out that we talk about all the time, eh? So you can go in and say, oh, fuck, I just need some mindless fun or some action, and I just need to see some guy with a machine gun blowing up shit, and that's cool. Or I just want to go deep and find a little bit more about mindfulness or celebrating life, or I want to learn about struggle. I love watching sporting documentaries. I've read, Bradley Wiggins just finished his book. I'm going to pick up another one. So if there's any recommendations for books, I know Mireia had a book recommendation for me, so I'll pick that up. I think she's going to finish it, and then I'll get that. So that's awesome. So looking forward to that. Yeah, peeps. Actually, one thing that we can do is, so if you're not on Audible, if you haven't been on Audible before, you can get a free credit by signing up, and just give 4 agreements a roll, or the 5th agreement, or there's a couple of other books that we could probably recommend, bro.
Oh, there's so many, mate. So many.
Yeah, there are so many. Just pick up a book and take the time to read it. Sit down and read it. That's a really good time to challenge yourself to do that type of shit, especially, if you're about
or the walk, eh?
Making time for self improvement. Walking is fantastic. I love it. I really, really love it. Just so enjoyable. When it used to be I'd only walk if either I was broken or my bike was broken. It was the only reason, or the car was broken. But walking is just, you can just around here, especially a beautiful day like this, through the suburbs, avoiding people, but still such a wonderful exercise that you can do together with a family, all ages. It doesn't have to be a race. Just got a new Fitbit too, mate. So we're all hooked up with technology.
There you go, mate. There you go, mate.
Yep. So I'm meaning to go for a walk later on. I've only done 4,300 steps and 90 minutes of training today.
Oh, mate. But what I'd like to the other day I actually put on the it's called Resurgence. It's like a CrossFit documentary that just came out, and I find that if I watch any documentary that's sport related, all it makes me want to do is be really active, right? So I was watching that, stretching and doing mobility work and working on my hips and doing sets of push-ups randomly. So I think if you have some struggle doing anything, just watch shit like that makes you want to move more. So if CrossFit will always do that to me, or bodybuilding videos or whatever it is, But yeah, it's good, And that's me. Chuck that back on, and then I'll get active straight away.
How wonderful just to be inspired. And the Olympics was a great time, but to watch stuff like that and see the level of commitment and the attitude to some of these world-class athletes and people, and you see also on it's relevant to the moment. Obviously, mental health of athletes and treatment of elite athletes has been first and foremost paramount, and there's been a lot of sad instances where we've lost a few young people due to the stressful nature of high performance, and the expectations that we set. And I was thinking about that the other day, because and I witnessed it a fair bit, but the old imposter syndrome, where people get to a stage and they just feel like they don't belong, all of the insecurities start up. And I see that a lot, and it's tough, because I think if you set yourself a goal and you get to a certain level where you get to perform at a certain level, or you get to do an event, you get selected to do an event, and there's always that point where you cast your mind back and you go back to where you started from, and that can be great, but also what it can do is well up some of those insecurities as well. All of the struggles and all of the people that told you can't do, and some people can use it as motivation, but it can be detrimental as well. And you can also sort of look too far past the actual event itself, gazing too far forward. And that's what Matthew McConaughey in his book said about choking. He said, your eyes are too far forward. So it just highlights to me again the importance of just making the most of the moment. And we discuss this all the time, just being present, appreciating where you are, because look, if you weren't supposed to be there, you wouldn't be there, right? You're there because whether it's an event or a selection, someone saw something in you, or you've worked hard enough to be there. You've earned your slot, your position. They don't just hand them out like a lottery ticket. You didn't just trip over and find yourself on a stage, on a bike, at a race, in an event, talking in front of 1,000 people, whatever it is. It wasn't an accident. So to remind people that if you do get to that situation, whether it's high performance or any type of performance, just remember that you do belong there. Remind yourself that you do belong there. Take the lesson from that moment, and then move on and enjoy the next one. Use it to fuel the next moment.
No.
So yeah,
sorry, bro. I was just going to say, that's such a good example, because I remember being into sports teams, and getting selected or in trials. And instead of focusing on the job at hand, the game at hand, or the task at hand, or whatever it was exactly thinking like, will I please the coaches or selectors enough to be selected for the team or the next week? Or will this be a road to this way down the road? Where it was like, shut up, bro. Focus on the game that you are currently in, the activity you're in, the tackle you're about to do, the run with the ball you're about to do, all these little tasks again, but and just have someone to slow you down in those days and say, look, mate, don't worry about any of that, because obviously the selectors will like you if you play a good game, if you do the basics well. But man, that messed me up big time. That was always a mess with me. That imposter syndrome was huge when I was playing sport. I used to always walk in that room. Yeah, and walk in and be like, what am I doing here? I shouldn't be, like whatever. And thinking ahead, what if I screw up this weekend, or what if I don't make the team and people think and then you're thinking about what other people think about you and what you're doing, and none of it even matters. It's just like, play a good game this week, mate. Train hard today.
You forget about the enjoyment super quick.
Oh yeah, big time, mate. Big time, mate.
Which is shit. And that's why we should enjoy stuff. That's why we should do stuff, because we love it, because we enjoy it, because it fills our cup.
That's right.
And because it's good for our soul, it's good for our energy. And then when we're in that space, we're way better for everybody else, and it affects everybody else positively in our lives. So to put ourselves in a position where we're doing that type of stuff and celebrating it. Yeah, and if you're at a start line and you see national champions or national representatives, and you have those holy fuck moments, you think, Jesus, do I actually belong here? Well, you've done the work, you've fronted up, you've paid your entry fee, or you've been selected. You are there. I remember just fronting up to these triathlons when you'd see these guys that are flipping machines, but worrying about what other people are doing or how they look or the training they've been is irrelevant. It's what you can control, the variables you can control. And I think it's funny, because you can prepare for something, for an event, meticulously, and it could take you years to get there, and you haven't missed a step at all. And there's so much anxiety that comes to that. And some of my best experiences in terms of physical activity have been where I've thought I've been under prepared, because my expectation is lower, and I'm way more relaxed. I'm way more relaxed about the event itself. So you go in, and it just shows you that philosophy. If you're way more relaxed and it's just enjoying the moment, taking it for what it is, not overthinking it. There's no point starting a race and you're already thinking about crossing the finish line when there are so many steps to take, and life's exactly the same, eh? So, just taking your time, enjoying every moment. Doing endurance sport, Ironman is like that. It's such a long fucking day. My God, it's a long day. But along the way, along the journey, you get to experience the other athletes, the people, the celebration of sport, triumph over adversity, people just willing you on that don't even know you, that see your name and call you and say, come on, you can do it. The level of self-belief, and also the level of fear and doubt and darkness and all of those types of things that you're flooded with, that you come across, that's the experience. And it's the same. And, just waking up in the morning and going through your day, we're bombarded with a whole heap of stuff. But just focusing and being in control of every moment, because we are, we are don't react on or overreact, which we're notorious to do, but just celebrate the moment. And I like, the idea of our conversation, right? The deep and meaningful chat is clearing the table, putting the phones away, and just dedicating the time to that conversation, having that chat, and breaking down the walls, question by question. And it doesn't have to be too deep and too meaningful straight away. It can be just about some of the not irrelevant stuff, but some of the fluff and the how are you and how's work and all of those types of things. And still you get that roll on and that level of comfort to be able to really discuss some deeper, more meaningful, and everybody's got one of those people in their lives that they can chat to. You have, whether it's a partner or someone, sometimes maybe it's even your children. Jeez, these kids are mature. These kids are mature nowadays.
Mate, my best combos, mate, are with my 5-year-old, mate. She's on a different level, that girl. But I love it, bro. You're right, eh? Nice one, bro. Yeah. Hey, so I think let's get some closing thoughts, bro. Before we head out, I think what do you want to leave on this call today, mate? For people that are watching today, we might have some new listeners because we're doing this a different way. We're going through the Facebook, so we've got some new people listening. We will be uploading this to YouTube as well, of course, as always, and Anchor, and to Spotify and everything else as well. So we'll all be sharing and uploading it. But mate, as we lead into some big couple of days, of course, there'll be some big feedbacks coming through. I'm sure we'll hear some news and updates tomorrow that will affect people in different ways. What are some closing thoughts, my bro? What do you want to leave this call with today?
Wow. I mean,
with
how
the
long have we been
people.
talking, mate? How long have we been chatting for already?
40 minutes, bro. 40 minutes, mate. Just
Oh
like we do.
shit,
We
really?
fly through, bro. Yeah, mate.
Well, mate, I think, we talked about it before, zooming out, the ability to
Yeah.
zoom out and realize how your attitude and your energy affects those around you. So even though it's tough, everybody is in the same boat, or try and get everybody in the same boat where you understand each other, you're all moving in the same direction, but just be positive. There's light at the end of the tunnel. There is hope. There's joy. There's so many things around you now that you can celebrate. And sure, it may get tough. There may be a little bit of uncertainty, but lean on the things that you are certain about. And that's the relationships that you have. That's your family, your friendships, the love you have for one another, and care for the people around you immediately without worrying about too much what's happening outside, because we can't control a lot of that shit. Focus on the people that are nearest and dearest to you within proximity, and check in with each other. And if we do that household to household, and as the world opens up again, then the households come out and connect, and it becomes a way better place. But just, respect that people deal with this type of stuff differently based on previous experiences. So just be mindful, and like I always say it, mate, the best thing is just, if you can be anything, just be kind. And that's not just kind to everybody or everything. It's be kind to yourself. Give yourself permission. It's okay if you're feeling, anxious. It's okay. It's okay if you're a little sad. That's okay too. And also, if it's actually okay to be happy too, and it's okay to celebrate too. Okay, so give yourself permission. Yeah, give yourself permission to feel and express what you're feeling with those around you. Yeah, I mean, I could honestly, I could talk forever on this stuff. I'm as passionate as it gets about this, about about kindness, about people looking after each other, about care, about compassion, about passion in general, and about our true purpose. And it is looking after each other, right? And moments like these are the times where we get to express that, where we get to experience it. And once you experience it, it is completely addictive. It's gratifying, it's satisfying, because that is what we're supposed to do. It's look after each other. So peeps, if you can do anything, man, just reach out. And even if it's a cheeky hug, even if someone in your household that maybe isn't as affectionate, just give them a hug anyway, and make it as awkward and as long as possible.
That's right.
I
love it.
Yeah, it's and like Cody and I, we chat a lot, and we just want everybody to know that that there's so much celebration in the chats we have offline too, bro. So just being there, and that's what I really love, is just being able to pick up the phone and say g'day, and that type of stuff could be the work stuff, and just a couple of jokes, and you leave those conversations feeling good, right? But I think people call each other for a reason. They just need to hear your voice, or they need to talk to someone. So if you do, just again, if someone's name pops into your head, if you've got that go-to person, Toddy down south is a great one to call, because he's just fucking hilarious. You can call him with anything and have a laugh. Yourself, you can talk about a whole heap of stuff about Stairmasters, and delivery options for Stairmasters. You can talk about that. Yeah, so I mean, where do you stop? Stopping.
Yeah.
Where do you stop? I mean, this life stuff is something we want to do more, right? We want to be inclusive rather than exclusive. We want to get the word out more. The first time you do it, it's always a little bit sticky, but it's really all about the conversation. So For us, it's about promoting just awareness and mental health. There's another couple of pages, some people I like to reach out to chat to that are doing exactly the same thing. You know, whether it's on a small scale, it's important to talk about stuff. It's important. If you've got something to say, Pete, get out and say it. If you touch if you touch one person, if you help one person, then your job is done. It's how we multiply that. It's how we improve our reach, by just communicating and sharing just kindness, love and kindness.
That's the way, my bro. And also, yeah, like just one thing to add before we shut her down is just like, yeah, like make that positivity louder, eh? 'Cause there's so much of the negativity and there's so much of the bullshit around that we fire into that and we all get into this big ball of it. But you know what, mate? Share the good shit. Share the good shit. And I like what you said, bro. Don't be afraid to show if you're happy or if things are good. Because I think that's what a lot of us get to the point, where it's like you just sort of sit back in the shadows because you don't want to be, you can't be yourself. So you want to be a little bit more like, oh, you doom and gloom. But we're, you know, it's just a weird thing that we do, isn't it? But
yeah, the news will sensationalize pain, right? The news will sensationalize pain, but we've got so much, and you guys know, you guys that are listening and that will listen, you guys know, look around, you've got so much to celebrate, so much to celebrate. And even if it's you know, sits deep within your skin, those types of things that we need to celebrate more, your skills, your heart, your kindness, your energy, celebrate that shit. The people around you that you have that love and care for you, that's the type of stuff, you know, that we need to kind of lean on in times like these. So yeah, we've all got so much to be grateful for. Just look a little deeper if you can't. I tell you what, one thing, you know, our old mate Blythe, we talk about experiencing gratitude. Now, peeps, this is a challenge. It is going to take you a long time. He sat down and wrote down 100 things he was grateful for. 100 things. And he said through halfway, he started bringing things from his past, moments, memories, what seemed like irrelevant things, but they brought up emotion, you know, revived emotion, funny times, emotional times, all of those types of things. So if you got to spare a couple of hours, 2.5 hours, I think he said, either that was amazing. 2.5 hours, write down 100 things that you I thought about doing it. I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna struggle. But mate, let's see, should we give it a crack?
Mate, I've done it. I've done that exercise before. Yep. I've also done 100 positive wins from last year, for example, like what happened last year that were all wins. 100.
Wow.
But yeah, I didn't sit down and do it continuously. I had to go in and out of it, mate. But great exercises. Amazing. I found the wins actually probably really, really beneficial too, because it's things that, you know, being grateful for things, you start just pulling out all sorts of stuff, you know, where there's like, oh, I'm grateful for the smell of the bush that's next to me. I'm grateful for the fact that I'm wearing warm socks. I'm grateful. But when you talk about the things that you accomplished over a year period, like wins and what they can be, like, mate, and another amazing activity, bro. Another amazing activity. There's your challenge. Whoever's watching right now, that's your challenge for this week, for the lockdown. That's your lockdown lesson, mate.
Yeah, and it just makes you realise, the small things, the impact of the small things, how you can get warmth over such seemingly insignificant parts in your life. You know, just like having a cat at the edge of the bed to pat. You know, those are the types of things that I'm grateful for. The opportunity to talk freely with friends and family about this type of stuff. And certainly it took a bit of bravery to start with, but now, I'm not saying it becomes natural, but you know, when the intention is pure, yeah, I just love this stuff, mate. Just love doing it. So thank you, team, always, for the time and the opportunity to be able to chat to us. Thank you for listening. We really do appreciate the level of support, the fact that you are out there also talking about the books that you're reading, sharing with family and friends. And let us know, give us some feedback on, do you want to see more live stuff? Do you want to participate in some stuff? What's some crazy things that we could actually look to do? You know, what are some crazy things that would actually do you have any ideas? Are there any gurus out there that think, hey, you know what we could accomplish? This. Let's do it. Let's send a message around the world. Let's try something. But yeah, peeps out there, be kind to yourself. Make time for yourself. Definitely make time for others, and just make the most of the opportunity you have to be still and quiet. It'll help you figure out a lot of stuff.
Hell yeah. All right, team. Thanks for tuning in. Time to shut her down. Thanks for tuning in on that first live.
Back to bed.
Catch us on all the things. Yeah, yeah. Get back to being chilled. All right, everyone. Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for taking part, and we'll see you all again next time on the D.M.C podcast.
Peace and love.
Peace, everybody. We are out.